Welcome everyone to the third Thursday telecon for the Stardust at Home project. My name is Dan Zevin, coming to you from, well, virtually from the Space Sciences Laboratory at UC Berkeley in the wonderful flaming red state of California. We're once again in the middle of fire season, and this is not letting us down. It's not letting us down this year. We have much smoke and many flames around the state, and it's a little bit sad. My window's closed right now because the air is so bad, but we'll get through this, I know, and I hope you're all doing well where you're at, given any unusual circumstances that you're dealing with. But today we have, once again, PI of the Stardust at Home project, Dr. Andrew Westphal, and he's going to give us an update on the project. And then we have our various dusters who usually join us each month, our veteran volunteers, also fondly known as dusters. And I'll go around and let them introduce themselves. I think they're going to have to unmute themselves, but let's start with the first person I see. Mike, please introduce yourself.
All right, yeah, Mike Caprero from the deep south of Michigan, just south of Detroit, what's called the Downriver area. And yeah, I've been dusting since somewhere in phase 1. So, happy to be here.
Fantastic. Really glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And then Fatima, if you could unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fatima, and I am from Atlanta, Georgia, but currently I'm residing in Morocco. I've been in Morocco now for 2 years. So I started with Stardust like 2018, 2017, and I really enjoy dusting. And but I like aerogels, to be honest. I like aerogels than foils more. So I'm glad that we will be back to do aerogels as well, because I spend a lot of time in doing the foils because they are the hard one that we need to focus on. So yes.
Great. Well, we're so glad that you continue to join us and that you find some joy in the project and value in the project. And she's talking as far as the different projects. She's talking about the fact that originally we had our dusters searching through the aerogel in the spacecraft collector, where we thought all of our particles would end up, but then it turned out some ended up in the foil, aluminum foil that surrounded the aerogel, and so we started a whole new project having our dusters search there as well. And those who have been listening in the past know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yes, when you join the Stardust at Home project, you can either search the aerogel, which was the original plan, or now the foil as well. All right, Augusto in Italy, can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
My name is Augusto Abizzone. I live in Palermo, Sicily, Italy, obviously. That's all.
Fantastic. Well, we're so lucky to have you as well, and we're so happy that you continue to join us. And you also are one of our big stars in that you're one of the few actual interstellar dust particle finders. So you have that honor, that little badge that you can wear as one of the more lucky dusters with the finding that you made. And then joining from the crew and also from the Space Sciences Lab is Robert Lettieri. What is he? What's he pointing down? Something in the chat.
No, you forgot Tom.
Oh, Tom. Oh, that's because he doesn't have video, right?
You have a picture, yeah.
Yeah. I just see a little photo. Thank you. Tom, can you introduce yourself as well? I don't know if he knows how to unmute himself from the phone. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Okay. You got me now?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing this for more than 10 years. I'm Tom Yankee from St. Louis, not far from the city of St. Louis, right inside the edge of the city of St. Louis. So I'm ready to, I thought I've been dusting for many months, over 10 years of months. And I think I found, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4
candidates. Yeah, so, definitely your name is listed on many of the candidates, I know. Yeah. At least things that are being investigated. Yeah. And Tom, you're also very skilled craftsman, and you've created for our volunteers a couple of items. You want to talk, just mention the items you've created for our dusters and distributed to them?
Well, one was a stitched arm patch, about 2.5 by 3.5 inches, maybe a little bigger, and one was a lapel pin, and about 3/4 of an inch by 1.25 inches, and one was a 10-point star for the 10-year veterans, and it's about 1.25 inches in diameter, I think, with 10 points, and they all have the spaceship and the Stardust logo and the NASA logo inside them. So that's it. Lots of fun.
No, that's just wonderful that you do that. And I know every duster who's received one of those items has been thrilled with your craftsmanship and your attention to detail to the little intricacies of the project. So thank you for doing that. So yeah,
well,
that's
some of them been manufactured locally, and some of it in China, and some of it in India. In part, you know, I designed them and made a prototype, and then they got done somewhere else in the world.
Well, if anyone listening to this recording wants to take a look, go to our website and our news page, and then search for pin
Yes.
or patch, and I think you'll see pictures of those items.
Yes.
All right, Robert, let's go back to you. You seem to have the front end of something new at the lab, and I have the back end. So together,
that seems appropriate, Dan, doesn't it?
yeah, sure. Yes,
Sorry,
together we are the
that
pantomime rocket of the Space Sciences Lab.
Yeah, so my role is to try and keep the website going, basically, on the Stardust. So with bubble gum and rubber bands. So yeah.
I like that.
And we just installed this rocket at. Can I point to it? Does that actually work?
Yeah.
We just installed this rocket at the lab. It's just a sign for the lab. It's technically a model rocket, and actually Andrew printed out the nozzle at the bottom on the 3D printer at his home. So that's sticking out the back end. So I can post other pictures anyway. So this was a long project. So anyway, that's that. I'm done. Oh, and then there's been only 3 dusters have logged on in the last 30 days. I'm sorry, to foils.
3.
Well, you got me on there.
Yeah, I don't know who. I don't check.
They're probably all on this call.
I think we're all here. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry to keep.
So 3 dusters dusting. Is that it right now?
On the foils, yeah, according to Robert.
Yeah. Okay.
Andrew, do you since Robert mentioned it, do you want to talk about the hand you had in this new little item, this Instagrammable item at the Space Sciences Lab? Oh, wait, you're muted.
It was really nothing. We when the pandemic first hit, we borrowed the 3D printer from the lab, and in order to print face shields for local ICUs and hospitals. And so
neat.
we're still, and we did some other things too. That was the main thing that was successful. And I don't know how many we printed, maybe 100, something like that. And they were all used. So the printer's still here because our lab is, the engineers are all working at home at SSL. So they send me print jobs occasionally. And so they asked me to print this nozzle. So it was fun to watch it. It's big. It fills up the whole volume of the 3D printer. And it took 2 days or so. But it's kind of fun. So.
Well, I know people are loving it, and I can't wait to get up there and actually get a real picture with myself with it. But no, I think it's a beauty, and I think it adds just a little character that's always been missing from the Space Sciences Lab.
From the outside.
Yeah, well,
right.
Many,
I'm here
many.
in St. Louis. I'd like to see a picture of it.
Well, there, look behind us. Oh, that's
He's
right.
on
You're
the
on the phone. You can.
You see.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
on telephone.
Yeah. Well, we should launch in. So, Tom, just you want to quickly ask your update to Andrew, and then I'll your particular question, and then we'll let Andrew give his general update.
Well, I'm interested in of all the things I've stuck my cursor on, and lots of them are control samples, but there's a few of them that get posted as a. I hope that you come across it and look at it and say, oh, this is a real candidate. I'd like to know that.
Yeah.
So.
What over the last couple of months, we've been focusing really on this machine learning project that I've talked about before. And what we want to do is to take the candidates that you have identified, you and other dusters have identified in the aerogels, and to train new machine learning approach that we're developing with Logan Yeager and Zach Gainsforth. So as part of that process, we're going to be going back and looking back at all of the candidates that have been identified even over the last year. So that's something that we're going to be doing very soon, but we have not done that yet. And so stay tuned on finding new candidates.
So I've asked several times, one more time now, how many of us are inspecting gels, foils, pardon me. How many are looking at foils?
Foils. Robert says 3 over the last month. So that means
3 people, 3 dusters are looking, or there's 3 candidates?
No, 3 dusters over the last month. Yeah.
Okay.
And as Mike said, they're probably all 3 are on this call. So.
Okay, so you do want me to keep doing that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, and so I'll give a bit of an update. Actually, well, let me come back to that in a minute.
Sure.
Yeah. So Dan is very smart in being inside. I'm actually, as you can tell, outside. That's not a virtual background. That's the actual background. That's my actual backyard. And I'm sitting here with eerie light, and as I'm sitting here, I'm being showered with ash from probably the fires up in Napa County. I'm guessing is where they're coming from. So this is our new normal, I guess, for California. And the light is very eerie. Probably hard to tell on the Zoom, but it is odd. Okay, so there are 2 things I'd like to do. First, I'd like to give an update on where we are on the machine learning project, and to remind you, I've talked about this before, but I'll just quickly summarize the idea. So, as all of you know who have done foils at home, or Stardust, or the aerogels in Stardust at home, the vast majority of the images that you look at have no candidates in them, nothing that's of interest. And so you spend a huge amount of time looking at images that don't have anything. And so what we are doing is developing a machine learning algorithm to select better the images to pass to you, who are the most experienced dusters, so that your time is used as well as possible. And we've done this for foils at home. So we've developed a convolutional neural network. When I say we, that's kind of the royal we, I guess, because it really is Zach Gainsforth and Logan Yeager who have developed this so-called CNN, convolutional neural network. And so they have high-graded those images to put onto foils at home. The goal of this is to not only do this for foils, but also to do it for aerogel. And this has never been done. There's no automated way at the moment detect tracks in the aerogel. Or a better way to put it is to reject images which are very unlikely to contain a track, so that you don't spend your time looking through empty images. Or we want to that of course will always be a problem, but it will be a much higher fraction, and it'll allow us to go through the data much faster. So so this part of it has not yet been completely developed, but we've taken the first baby step in doing this, but it has not yet been uploaded to the website. But we're hoping that we can do that soon. So I guess what I want to ask now is, of the people on the call, and I know the answer from Tom, who has been doing foils at home? And I'd like to hear about your experience, and if you've noticed differences in the last 2 or 3 months in doing foils at home. Are you noticing a higher proportion of candidates? And what has been your experience? And so maybe I'll, because I know that Tom has been doing foils at home, I'll start with Tom.
And I've just asked him to unmute himself because I...
Yeah, Tom, you might need to unmute again. There we go.
Okay. Well, sometimes I think there's differences. Sometimes I think there's 2 or 3 real close together, and I'd like the programmers to put a comma in there that I can point to 2 or 3 possibilities in a slide. Wouldn't you like to work on that? Anyway, you know, I need some encouragement now. I really think there's not a lot. Your sample, your reference slides, I don't think are very good. There's a few of them that really look like they could be an impact crater, and there's several of them that look like somebody was using their felt pen to make it. But I'd like a good set of real things as a guide to what we're looking for. And I guess every month or so, a report back if there's I found one possibility or I haven't yet.
So I'll address part of that. So I think that the reason that it's hard for us to confirm a candidate or not is because the process for confirming whether something is a candidate is much slower than finding it on the Foils at Home website, because what we have to do is go in to in our case we would go into the National Center for Electron Microscopy at Lawrence Berkeley Lab. We extract the crater with a called the focus ion beam, and then do an analysis in an electron microscope. Now, it's actually Naval Research Lab that does this. Rhonda Stroud and Brad DeGregorio have done this work on the foil craters so far, and that's a very slow process, and it's especially slow in the pandemic because the labs are closed. So Lawrence Berkeley Lab, for example, is essentially completely shut down. And that's true, unfortunately, of the synchrotron as well. So the Advanced Light Source, which is where we analyze the interstellar candidates, is only recently just begun to come back up. And people who are external users like us at the Space Sciences Lab, even though we're very close to the ALS, we are considered visitors, and so we're actually not allowed on the lab. So and for these really precious samples, we have to be present. So we're not really quite clear what the schedule is going to be for us to be able to go back. So yeah, I hear you that you would like encouragement, but what I'm wondering about is whether you are noticing an increasing frequency of candidates, of crater-like features in the data that you're seeing, or have you not noticed a difference?
No, I'll go for a week. 3 or 4 days in a week, and I'll find 2 or 3 or 4 pieces, slides that I think are possible. Okay. And then I'll go a couple of weeks and I won't find anything but reference slides.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a period of time, and I'm not making any notes of when those dates are, so I couldn't tell you. Okay. I just go like crazy, try to not miss anything that's worth seeing. Once in a while, I move pretty fast, and I'll mark a slide as not interesting, and then I think, oh God, I should have marked that one. I should have, it's like, God, I hope it comes back one day soon. So do they ever come back? Do I see the same ones twice over a period of time?
Yeah, you do. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll get it the next time then. And I find a couple in one slide sometimes that I think one's as good as the other.
Yeah.
And
that's
I
okay.
mark them and they don't come off as reference slides, so that's encouraging.
Yeah. No, it's actually okay to have a image which has more than one candidate in it. We're really interested
and
in
you'll find it, huh? You'll find it when you go.
Yeah. When we look at it, we can see the candidate.
Andrew, maybe we could ask Fatima the same question, because she also sent me an image of a slide that she's interested in. I mean, an image of a crater she's interested in. So maybe we could ask her to talk about that, and I'll ask her to unmute herself now.
Yeah, Fatima, you're, there you go.
Yes, so yes, that's right. I actually, I had a problem with my laptop, so it was broken. Finally, I got another one, because I was opening the Stardust on my phone, but the quality of the screen is not the same as in the laptop. So, but basically what I found in the forums is it's hard to get a movie where you can click on the crater, because most of them, they are just like maybe carbon particles, or the particles from the aircraft, the light, when you see the ones that have a lot of light in it, that's not a crater. It's not circular in the shape, just as we had in the other telecons. We were mentioning that it's really hard to look when there is so many resembling kind of particles to the craters. So it was really hard, but whenever I click on one and I found it, I get so excited to send it to you or to them in the email, because I want to see if other masters are actually finding the same findings as the one I clicked on. It's totally different than the aerogels though, because in the aerogels you see how many number of agreements, and that was making it easy. So we know that that's actually maybe a crater, but in the folds it's really different. But regarding the movies that I see, it really takes a long clicking and looking for the crater before you actually find one that is a real crater. So it's really few, but we have to click on something sometimes. You just click on something, because you can't just skip, you're looking for the crater. If you don't find it, you feel like disappointed when I'm gonna get the movie that has a crater. But it's not, there is no so many movies that have those resembling craters. So it's a really hard job in the foils than the aerogels. I will always compare the foil to the aerogel. It's not the same. So, but basically we do find some. I just sent one to Dan. I sent one crater, so it looks like it's a candidate.
Yeah, do you mind if I bring that one up, Andrew?
Yes, we can actually share it on the screen. Yes.
Okay, hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. Can you see it?
Yes, that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
Nice circular motion, and it's unique also. It's not on the other ones, so it's unique. It's in a place where you can actually notice it.
Nice. Yeah, certainly that definitely looks like a candidate to me.
But it's this one here, yeah?
No, this one.
No, it's the one.
Okay.
There you go.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is so centered, my eye goes there, but yep, there it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Right.
Because I was going to say, doesn't look like one to me, but now I see it. But Fatima, you were talking about this one as well, right?
That one is, that's the one with the one that has black circle and then the lightings on the circle.
Yeah, no, it's almost exactly what we asked people to click on, right?
Yeah, circular motion.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect find. Yeah.
And it's unique.
I wonder if anyone.
Not on, and these movies, you usually don't come across these movies quickly. It takes a long scanning before we find some of like those ones.
Yep. Nice.
Thank you, Timmy. So should we see what Mike or Augusto are finding as well?
Yes. So
one thing I wanted to say, Fatima, is that you can see agreements now in foils. When we switched over to the machine learning thing, I changed that so you can see agreements in your whatever it's called, in your events space, so you can see other people have clicked on the image as well. That's all I wanted to say.
Robert and I had some philosophical talks about what all that means too. But you know, it should be there now. Yeah, take a look again, Fatima, and let us know if you're still not seeing it or not. But you should see those agreements then.
Yep.
Who do you want to go with next?
I have a bad no information for Fatima, because the 2787784 was found by myself on March 2016.
okay.
So he's saying he found that exact same crater that
And
we
it is one of the PNG file that I sent you some time ago. I don't remember when. And after was found again on August of the same year, on June of 2020, again June 2020. So I found 4 or 5 times the same image. I schedule all my activity, you know it. This. I have a little of curiosity about the learning machine.
Yeah.
Is easier or harder for a machine to detect an image totally black or totally white?
Totally black or totally white?
Yes, because I believe that, to be honest, in this month, I were inactive for more days. But I find that the number of totally black or totally white images is very, very high.
Really? Okay. All right. That's very good to know. It may be that they're triggering, that the machine learning algorithm is selecting those preferentially. So that's very good to know.
So
Yeah.
it's possible to detect and they share this image.
Yeah.
The database, this image.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Thank you. That's great.
Thank you.
And Andrew, can you, before we go to Mike and his opinion, can you repeat the question one more time just to refresh?
I think Augusto was, oh, you mean my original question?
Yeah, because I just want to make sure we stay on track with your question, but it sounds
yeah,
like—
I guess my question is, what has been your experience in the last couple of 2 or 3 months on foils at home, as we are serving now these high-graded images from the machine learning?
Yeah, it doesn't feel different from
Right.
as far as what's being served up. Right. Yeah. And Augusto answered that with a very interesting find.
Yeah.
So Mike, we'd love to hear your opinion.
Yeah, aside from not being clear on what a hydrated image is, I would say since the changes were made, yeah, it's definitely more interesting doing the foils now.
Mm-hmm.
At first, because I had to examine each image a little more closely, because most of them looked like, yeah, I can see where there's a potential something here. and you had to think a little harder before you rejected any of the images. With practice, you get more efficient, of course, but the number of candidates that I'm finding, yeah, it definitely is in much higher proportion than it had been before we made the change.
Okay.
And maybe to address Tom's input a little more too, if one quick way to get some feedback that might be welcome would just be if Zach or Logan or Anna or Mark or whoever were able to take just a little bit of time and look through the, I assume you have Robert, I assume there's a way for the staff or the team to be able to look and see what's in the events log, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've got a lot that are, I mean, there's some that have been viewed 10 times.
Yeah, I
are
just
10 times. So
right.
you think maybe some of those are worth looking at. It wouldn't take somebody but a half an hour to skim through there and get back and say, hey, those really do look like there's something.
I just uploaded the data to our development machine, and Logan is in there now culling it. So
all right.
So just like you asked is happening right now, I hope. So I just set it up so they could. So, Logan and Zach are gonna start crunching on it. So that was this morning's dump of the database. So they'll have the most recent foils data.
Okay, good. Well, that's very helpful. Thank you. Yeah, one of the things that we do need to do, we need to do a better job of communicating what we're finding to all of you, and that's on. Yep. So.
Tom here. I'd like a new set of maybe a set of slides of the real things that have been found, what they look like, because I feel like the old test slides calibration slides, they're burned in my brain so deep. Yeah. I see one of those and I say, I've seen that 1,000 times before. Give me some new calibration slides and give me a few slides of the real thing.
So one of the challenges is, what do we mean by real? So what we mean, so real means something that we have to analyze, again, with this technique, with an electron microscope and using this fib lift out technique to be able to really identify something similar to what we have to do with the tracks and the aerogel on the synchrotron. And that's a very slow and expensive process. So so if we're going all the way to what do we think is really interstellar, that is unfortunately a slow process. If we're
I guess,
go ahead.
The slides, not the calibration slide, but the slides we're all examining.
Yeah. Right.
Those that have been chosen as likelies, as possibles.
Yes. Right. That's right.
I'd like to see those.
Right.
Just to see what stimulates everybody's interest, and then we all kind of agree that one should be looked at more carefully. Doesn't have to be that it has been looked at.
Right.
But that we all agree on a couple of slides. I'd like to see those that we all agree are worth taking a longer look at.
Thank you. Yes. I'm going to put this as a high priority for our next Thursday telecon to make a slideshow of those candidates. So
good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. That's very helpful, and I will pass that along to Logan and Zach. And as I said, we will we'll assemble a list of and a slideshow of those candidates that we think are likely, even if we don't know yet whether they are. Okay, so I'm noticing that it's coming up on the hour, and
pretty close.
Yep. So I think I may not be able to get to to the to the news about the about our interplanetary, our new initiative. So I may leave that for the next time, but I will just say one thing about it, which is that what I want to talk about next time is this idea that really came from a guy named Chris Piester, who is a professor in electrical engineering and computer science here at Berkeley. And the idea, I think, is going to be, it's very exciting, the idea of miniaturizing spacecraft so that they're down to about 10 grams. And the idea is that not only would this enable us to return samples from comets, from many comets, very inexpensively by comparison with the traditional way of doing things, but also that we could do it much faster. And there's one other application, at least one other application that I'm very excited about as an application of these, basically swarms of thousands of these tiny interplanetary spacecraft. And so I'll talk about that next time because I don't want to rush it.
That is so tantalizing that you've committed yourself now to next month.
Definitely.
We had some a student organization on campus that actually did an experiment with a release of very tiny, in the palm of your hand spacecraft. I think they released, I don't know, a couple of dozen or so. I can find out, but I didn't even know this was happening. And so it's already happening.
So how do you collect those tiny spaceships and get them back?
I'll talk about that next time.
Yeah. That's a great question because the ones I know about are never coming back. They're gone.
Stay tuned.
Well, how do you know what's in there? What's been collected?
Stay tuned.
Again, I'll talk about that next time.
They'll join us next time. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna.
Okay, bye, y'all. It's been fun.
We're gonna
a little frustrating, but fun.
All right, we're going to sign off now, but I want to thank everyone for joining us. It's great to see everyone's faces again and to know this community is still thriving. It's challenging times out there, I know, but you take the time to join us here on these monthly calls, and I think that's just wonderful, and it speaks a lot about the community that's been formed here. So thank you all. And with that, I'll definitely stop the recording, but thank you, Andrew, as well. We know your time is valuable, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Tom here in St. Louis. Been good being with you.
See you all next
Right.
time.
Stay well.
Okay, bye-bye.